So in the previous session, we have discussed about operators and we have discussed what exactly an operator, what it indicates, and what we can do with the help of operators in Apex programming, and what are the various categories of operators that we have, and what operators are available in each category we have discussed. And we have discussed Apex provides 5 categories of operators. Apex provides 5 categories of operators. First one, arithmetic operators are mathematical operators. So, arithmetic operators are used to perform the basic mathematical calculations. That means whatever the input values that we have, like as numerical values, and those input values we can perform some basic mathematical calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. These kind of operators are comes under arithmetic operators. This is the first category. Second category, relational operators are comparison operators. What do you mean by relational? Whenever if you want to compare the two values, if you want to map the relation between the two values inside that programming, like which one is biggest one, which one is smallest one, whether both are equals, both are different, to do these kind of relations. In order to map the relation between the two values, then we are using the help of relational operators like less than or equals to, greater than, greater than or equals to, equals to, not equals to. We have discussed various operators over here. As part of these relational operators, we have discussed the various operators over here. These are the various relational operators that we have as part of this Apex programming. And yesterday we have discussed the difference between the equality operator and the equals function. How this equality operator works, how the equals function works, we have discussed in the previous session. Like equality operator will use as a text comparison, equals function will use as binary comparison. Then how text comparison works, how binary comparison works, we have discussed in the previous session. Next. So now let's continue with the remaining categories of operators over here. The third one, logical operators. What do you mean by logical operators? What is the use? Logical. Okay. These are for what?
Checking conditions like
Hmm. Okay. Two conditions. Now,
yes,
whenever if you want to club the multiple conditions together, if you want to combine the multiple conditions together to validate the data, we are using the help of logical operators. Now, like for example, assume that we have a student. For example, we have a student. Student has given 5 exams. He has given 5 exams. Today, they are going to announcing the results. So as part of these exams, we have some eligibility criteria. If the student is getting more than, greater than or equals to 40 marks in each subject, then only he will be passed. Suppose if the student is getting less than 40 marks in any of the subject, then he will be failed. This is the criteria that we have. So now in this case, how they will check the conditions? We have 5 exams are available. They will cross check that subject 1 more than 40 are not, and subject 2 more than 40 are not, and subject 3 more than 40 are not, and subject 4 more than 40 are not. and subject 5 more than 40 marks are not. That means what? If the student is getting more than 40 marks in each subject, then he will be pass. Okay, so what are the five conditions we have verified? All these are five conditions we are combining together. We are clubbing these five conditions together by using AND operator here. First condition and second condition and third condition and fourth condition and fifth condition. If all the five conditions are satisfied, then he will be pass, or else he will be fail. So in this case, whenever if you want to combine the multiple conditions together to validate the data, then we are using the help of logical operators. Now, as part of Apex programming, we have three logical operators are available: and, are, not. Okay, same like as your mathematics. Okay, now let's see. So what exactly that AND operator, are, and the not? We have AND operator, are operator, not operator. So this AND will be denoted with the help of two ampersand symbols, and the R will be denoted with the help of two pipe symbols. This is called as a pipe symbol. And then this not operator will be denoted with the help of an exclamation symbol here. These are the three operators over here. As part of logical operators, we have these three. Logical operators are used to prepare compound conditions. Okay, compound conditions by clubbing the multiple conditions together to validate the complex data. Because one simple condition is not sufficient to validate the data, it requires multiple conditions also. In that case, either both the conditions should be satisfied or any one of the condition is satisfied to indicate that we are using the help of logical operators. So we can build the logic between the values. Okay, now, so now tell me, in this case, this AND operator, what it indicates now? Both the conditions should be satisfied. That means it returns true if both the conditions are satisfied. Our operator, either one of the condition is satisfied here. Not operator means what? Just it is for negation. It will be changing the result from true to false and false to true over here. Okay? Now, in this case, let me give that note point. Logical operators. These are used to prepare the compound conditions which can be used to validate the complex data. AND operator. It returns true if both the conditions satisfied. It returns false, it returns true if any of the condition satisfied. It returns the negation of the condition result. It returns the negation of the condition result. That means from true to false, false to true. Come with this. Next, increment or decremental operators. Then what do you mean by increment or decremental operators? What did you understood with this operator names? By what?
increment increment value
Increments
by
the value by
1.
one. One. Okay. Decrement operator. Decrement the value by one.
Increment is value
Okay.
by 1.
Now, in order to increment the value by one or to decrement the value by one, we are using the help of increment or decremental operators. Okay. Now, then what increment operators that we have? What decrement operators that we have? Now let's see. Now we have two operators are available in Apex programming, plus plus, minus minus. This plus plus operator is used to increment the value by one, only one, not two, not three, not five, not 10. If you want to increment the value only by one, to decrement the value only by one, then we can go with increment or decremental operators. So to increment now, let's see how can we use this one. Now let me explain how to use this increment operator, how to use this decrement operator. Now let me explain here. For example, assume that we have a customer. Okay, we have a customer. So now which we have collected the customer details 1 year back. During the time the customer age is some 32. Now, so we have stored that value here. Customer age 32. Exactly 1 year back, we have collected the customer details here. Now, during the time his age was 32. Now, as of now, 1 year is completed. What will be his age now? 33. The age should be incrementing by 1. Generally, how to increment the value? We are using customer age equals to customer age plus 1. That means what we are doing? We are going to be taking this customer age value. What is the value here? 32. We are collecting this value 32 plus 1. We are adding 1. So now this 33 will be, we are storing into which variable again? Customer age. So already customer age variable is having the value 32. Now I'm incrementing the value by 1. So in this case, what happened here? We have written this variable name two times. Customer age, customer age. Two times I have written this value here. In this case, it is occupying some more characters, right? Yes. That too in Apex programming, while writing the piece of code, Apex compiler will be counting each and every character over here. So that too, we have very limited number of characters we can write. That 60 lakhs characters we can write within the entire Salesforce organization. Within an organization, we can write maximum of 60 lakhs of characters, not more than that. But in this case, if you keep on wasting some characters by writing the same variable name again and again and again, then we can't write much business logics. For that reason, while writing the code, I would like to make it optimized. I want to make it optimized over here. So now for that reason, what I want to do is instead of using this customer age equals to customer age plus 1, simply I would like to write customer age plus plus. If I'm using plus plus, then it is going to be incrementing the value by 1. Inside the customer age variable, Whatever the value is available, this value will be incrementing by 1. Now the result will be storing inside that same variable again here. Clear? Understood the concept here? Now, now in this case, the output will be the T3. Clear? Now, next, for example, assume that we are providing some products to the customers. We are selling out some mobiles or laptops, whatever, anything. Today morning, we have 100 products are available. Today morning, we have 100 products are available. Just now, we have sold out one product. Then in this case here, okay, in this case. So what will happen here? What is the number of products available still in stock? 99. Okay, morning we are having what is the stock? 100.
100.
Now just now we have sold out one product to a customer. So now still we are having 99 products are available. That means that the stock value we need to decrement by 1 because we have sold out one product over here. Now in this case, I'm indicating available in stock. Initially, we are having this 100 products available in stock. Now, just now we have sold out one product over here so that we can specify available in stock minus minus. So now in this case, the value will be decremented over here. It will be representing the result as 99. It will be representing the result as 99. So whenever if you want to increment the value by 1 or to decrement the value by 1, we are using the help of this incremental decremental operator, that is plus plus minus minus. Right. So now here just we can specify the variable name here. Okay, available in stock is a variable. Variable name should not have any space. It should be always a single word. Right, that's what. Because always in Apex programming, okay, we need to choose some shortcut mechanisms, optimized mechanisms here. Because Salesforce has given that very limited characters to write within the organization. So that try to use the shortcut mechanisms. So by writing less lines of code, we can implement more functionalities. So that here we can save some characters. These characters we can use to implement some more functionalities as part of application development. Okay. Right. Done with this? Now, next one, assignment operators here. Now let's see what exactly assignment operators. So now as of now we have discussed increment or decremental operators. So increment operator is going to be incrementing the value by what? 1. Decrement operator is going to be decrementing the value by 1. Okay, now sometimes we can raise a question, sir, I want to increment the value by 2. I want to increment the value by 5 or 10 or 100 or 1000. Sometimes I want to decrement the value by 3. I want to decrement the value by 5. or 10 or 100, then what can I do? In this case, if you want to increment or decrement the values by more than 1, then we can go with the help of assignment operators. So, assignment operators are used to assigning the value by incrementing with the required value, whatever you want. You can increment the value by 2 also, 3 also, 5, 10, 100, 1000, 1 lakh, 1 crore, whatever you want. We can increment the value. Like the similar fashion, we can decrement the value also. So for that reason, as part of Apex programming, they have given few assignment operators. Like they have given that plus equals to, minus equals to, multiply equals to, division equals to. These are the four assignment operators, and along with that, your default assignment operator also available here. That is single equals. Single equals for assigning the value, plus equal, this is the incremental assignment, subtraction assignment, multiplication assignment, division assignment. These are the five assignment operators are available. Observe the difference over here. If it is a single equals, that is for assignment. Double equals, comparison. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, when you after that, if you want to compare the values with binary comparison, we are using equals a function. Okay, equals function. When you go to some other programming languages here, then to assign the value they are using single equals. To compare the value they are using double equals. This is for text comparison. To compare the value with the binary comparison, they are using triple equals. Triple equals for binary comparison because they don't have any equals function over there. In that case, for the equals function, they have the replacement that is triple equals. But in Apex programming, we have already equals function is available, so we don't have this triple equals. We are having single equals for assignment, double equals for comparison. Okay, now. So now here in this case, let's see how to use this assignment operators. Now let me explain. For example, assume that today a customer has visited our bank. I'm working in a bank as a bank employee or a cashier or assistant or a manager, whatever, anything. Today, a customer has visited my bank branch. He has opened a new bank account. So as per the bank policy, in order to open a new bank account, they should have minimum 10,000 rupees as a balance. This is the initial deposit they have to make to open a new bank account. Because it's a private bank, in private banks, if you want to open an account, we have to pay minimum 10,000 rupees. For government bank, we are having 1,000 rupees, 1,500. Student accounts are 500 rupees minimum balance. We are having different types. So it's a private bank. They have to maintain minimum balance 10,000 rupees. So he has paid 10,000 rupees. He has opened that bank account. Now tell me in this case, what will be his initial balance amount now? 10,000. Now we are having this balance amount. Balance amount 10,000. So this is the assignment here. We have assigned this value 10,000 to the variable balance amount here. Balance amount is a variable which I have defined. In this variable, I'm storing the value 10,000. Now, just now he has opened the bank account and then he is having that balance amount of 10,000 rupees. So now after 2 hours, he came to the bank branch. He has deposited 4,000 rupees more. Okay, after the 2 hours, he came to the bank branch again. He has deposited 4,000 rupees. Then what will be his balance then? 14,000 rupees. So in that case, how can we write balance amount equals to balance amount plus 4,000. So whatever the balance amount value that we have, for this value we are adding 4,000 more. So the total amount we can able to store inside balance amount variable. So but in this case what happened, I have written this variable name 2 times over here. Instead of writing like this, just we can able to write this the same statement like this. Balance amount plus equals to 4,000. That means, what it means, whatever the value is available inside this balance amount variable, for this value, please add 4,000 rupees more. Okay, in balance amount variable, already it is having the value 10,000. For this variable value, please add 4,000 more also. So the value will be 14,000. It will store into that balance amount variable. So instead of writing balance amount equals to balance amount plus 4,000, we can able to use simply a shortcut mechanism plus equals to here. Clear? Now, next, after that, after one day, he went to an ATM machine. He has withdrawal 2,000 rupees from the account. Okay, after one day, that means next day, he went to that ATM machine, which is nearest by his location. He has withdrawn 2,000 rupees. What is the balance there? 12,000 rupees. So in that case, what we can do? How to write that statement? Balance amount minus equals to 2,000 rupees here. In this case, the result will be, that means the output will be 14,000. In this case, what will be the output over here? 12,000. Clear? Now, and after that, I want to multiply this value by 2. Balance amount into equals to 2. What is the result then? 24,000. Later, after some time, I would like to divide this value by 4. What is the result here? 6,000. That's it. So we can able to assign the value for the variable. We can increment the value by some 400, 4,000, 2 or 3 or 5, whatever you want. We can decrement the value. We can multiply the value with the respective number, and then we can divide the value also. This is how we can able to use assignment operators as part of your Apex program. Clear? Now, if you want to increment or decrement the value by 1, go with increment or decremental operators. If you want to increment or decrement by more than 1, then straightforward, go with that assignment operators. Okay, this is the basic difference. Done with this? Now, so these are the 5 categories of operators are available in Apex programming. Okay. Now, as of now, we know how to define the variables, how to store the values, how to perform some operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, anything. So now, Once the operators has been used to perform some operations, then each operator will be generating some results, right? Yes. Upon performing the operations on the values, each operation will return some results. Then how can we see the result? How to print that result? In order to print that result on the debug log file, we need an output statement. Because that already we know that as part of Apex programming, we don't have any command prompt concept. Because when you go to the other programming languages, it may be Java, .NET, or any other programming languages, whatever the results has been generated, those results will be visible on the debug log file, sorry, inside the command prompt. But as part of Salesforce, we don't have any command prompt concept here because Salesforce doesn't require any like a local environment. We no need to install anything in our local system, so always it will be accessible through cloud. So for that reason, whatever the result has been generated by your Apex compiler or the execution engine, those results we can see inside the browser with the help of debug log file. Now, in that case, whatever the results you would like to print, those results also we have to write inside the debug log file. Then how to write some message into the debug log file so that the people can see what exactly the result of their program or operation. So in that case, we are having output statements. We have output statements. What exactly output statements? Basically, output statements are used to write some message on your debug log file. Okay, in order to write the output of your program onto the debug log file, we are using the help of output statement. Now, when you go to the programming languages, each programming language is having its own output statement. Like for example, if you know that C programming language here, what is the output statement for that? Printf statement. They're writing some message over here, like for example, some welcome. If it is a C programming, people are using an output statement called as printf. If it is a C++, the people are using a method called as cout. That means the console output. So now here it will be printing some message over here. Cout statement. If it is some Java, people are using system.out.println. So now they're printing the message whatever they want onto the command prompt here. If it is some C# .NET, people are using the statement console.writeLine. They're printing some message on the debug log on the command prompt. So now these are all are okay on-premise programming languages. It may be C, C++, Java, C Sharp, Python, Pascal. These are all our on-premise programming languages, which will be requires installation into the local system, which will compile in our local system, which will save the code in our local system, which will execute in our local system, which will print the result also in our local system on the command prompt. But as part of Salesforce, nothing will be there in my local system. Everything we are operating through cloud by using browser. In that case, the results also will be printing inside the browser. So, as part of your Apex programming, Force.com platform will generate an output file called as debug log file. Debug log file contains the complete program execution history. Whatever the program that we have executed, it may be having 1 line, 2 lines, 5 lines, 100 lines, 1,000 lines, whatever it may be. It may be small program or complex program, whatever it might be. Once the program execution has been done, whatever the result has been generated, result will store inside the debug log file, which can be see with the help of browser. So I want to write the message also. I want to write the results also in the debug log file. In order to write this message onto the debug log file as part of our Apex programming, we have a statement called as system.debug statement. System.debug. System is a ready-made class given by Salesforce. System is a ready-made class given by Salesforce. In this system class, we have a method called as debug method, which is used to write some message into the debug log file. In order to write some message onto the debug log file, we have this method debug. Then what message you want to write in the debug log file, that message we can specify over here. Write the message to print. So what message you would like to print inside the debug log file, we need to write that message by using this system.debug statement here. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now, make a note of this one. Output statements. By using this statement, we can print the program result on the debug log file. On the debug log file. Syntax. For example, I'm printing the message. System.debug. Whatever the message you are going to print, that message may be a string message, right? As part of Apex programming, how the string values will be enclosed with single quote. So that we have to specify that message in single quote, not double quotes over here. Please remember the point. I would like to represent the message, welcome to Apex programming. I want to show the message. System.debug. This is my first Apex program. Like that, we can able to print some message. Whatever the message that you want to print onto the debug log file, write the message by using system.debug statement. In this system.debug, system is nothing but a ready-made class. Debug is a ready-made method which will write the specified message into your debug log file automatically. So the message we need to specify in by enclosing with single quotes. Done with this? Now, let's see. So now, as of now, we have discussed how can we define the variables, how to assign the values, how to do some operations on the values we have discussed. And once the operations has been done, how can we print the results on the debug log file we have discussed over here. Okay, fine. Now in this case here you can raise a question. Sir, as of now we know how to write the piece of code. So now tell me where we can write the code. Where we need to write this Apex programming code. Suppose if it is a Java programming, people are writing the code by using a normal notepad over here, notepad editor. They will take a notepad editor or they can use some other editors also like as Edit Plus also. They're having a tool called as Eclipse IDE also. By using these tools, they can write the code, they can save into the local system. Suppose if it is a Java people, .NET people, they're having a separate IDE designed by the Microsoft people, Visual Studio IDE. They can use it. C programming people, they have a separate IDE is available, like a Turbo C editor is available. For C++, also Turbo C editor is available. Then what about my Salesforce? Where we need to write this Apex programming code. In that code, in order to write this Apex programming code, Salesforce has given multiple ways. As part of Apex programming in Salesforce, we have multiple ways are available over here. Then what are those multiple ways that we have in Salesforce? Now let's see one by one over here. Now, in Apex programming, whenever if you want to write the piece of code, we have 5 ways are available in Salesforce. To write the code, we have 5 ways are available. Then what are those 5 ways? First one, we can use the help of standard navigation. We can use the help of standard navigation. Second one, by using developer console. Okay, developer console. Third one, execute anonymous window. Okay, execute anonymous window. Fourth one, URL format. Okay, URL format. These four are from Salesforce. And we have one additional IDE that is called as Visual Studio Code Editor. So now we have a third party editor called as Visual Studio Code Editor, which we are using in the real time in so many times. Okay. Visual Studio Editor is a common editor which we'll be using with the people in the real time implementations. We'll see as part of development how to install Visual Studio Editor in our local system, how to write the code, how to integrate this editor with our Salesforce R, how to write the code, how to push the code, how to pull the code, everything we'll see with the practical concepts as well here. Okay, now, and then we are using this Visual Studio Code Editor also. These are the total 5 ways are available. First one, standard navigation. Second one, developer console. Third one, execute anonymous window. Fourth one, URL format. Fourth one, Visual Studio Code Editor, that is also called as VS Code. These are the 5 ways are available in Salesforce to write the Apex programming code. Okay, now, but initially we'll see how to use this execute anonymous window here to write the piece of code over here. Okay, so now by end of this development, we'll see all these 5 mechanisms also over there. Okay, now, make a note of this one here. Ways to write the Apex code. Salesforce provides the below 5 ways to write the Apex code. First one, by using standard navigation, by using developer console, by using execute anonymous window, by using URL format, by using Visual Studio Code Editor. This is also called as VS Code. These are the 5 ways are available. Done with this? Now, next one. So then how can we execute your Apex programming code? So now not only writing the piece of code from Salesforce, we need to execute that code also so that we can able to execute the business logic, we can perform the operations, we can see the results. In that case, how to execute your Apex programming code? In Salesforce, in order to execute your Apex programming code, we have 10 ways are available. We have 10 ways are available in Salesforce to invoke your Apex programming code. In order to execute your Apex programming code, we have 10 ways are available in Salesforce. Now, what are those 10 ways? Now, let me list out one by one here. Okay, now make a note of this one. Salesforce provides the below 10 ways to invoke or execute the Apex code. First one. First one by using execute anonymous window. First one by using execute anonymous window. Second one by using Apex triggers. Through Apex triggers also we can invoke your Apex programming code. Third one by using batch classes. This is also called as batch Apex. Fourth one by using schedule classes. This is also called as schedule Apex. Fifth one by using Visual Force pages. Sixth one by using email services. Seventh one by using web services or APIs. Eighth one by using process builder or lightning flows. Ninth one by using lightning components through JavaScript. 10th one by using Visual Studio code editor. These are the 10 ways are available to execute your Apex programming code. So we have execute anonymous window. Through this execute anonymous window also we can invoke the Apex code by using triggers also, batch classes also, schedule classes also, Visual Force pages also, email services also, web services also, process builder or lightning flows also, lightning components also by using JavaScript, and then we are having Visual Studio code editors here. These are the total 10 ways are available in order to invoke this Apex programming code. Now, these are the multiple ways are available. So as part of our development sessions, we'll be discussing about almost 8 ways. Okay, by end of the development sessions, we'll see 8 ways to invoke this Apex programming code here. 2 ways we'll see during that. One way will be through integration. One way will be through with the help of Lightning framework. During that Lightning framework, we'll see how to invoke by using Lightning components through JavaScript, and then web services or API. This is comes under integration. Okay, remaining 8 ways we'll see as part of your development sessions. Now, in this case, we'll see the first way, that is execute anonymous window. In order to write this Apex programming code, now I would like to use this execute anonymous window first here. How to use this execute anonymous window editor, where it is available, how to go to this editor, how to write, how to execute, how to see the results, everything we'll see step by step. Let me give you the navigation first, then I will show you with a practical use case how can we do that. From now onwards, same procedure we need to repeatedly use that procedure to write the piece of code. Okay, now. So now I would like to use execute anonymous window first. How to go to this execute anonymous window editor first. Now let's see how to write the code. In this case, click on setup menu, click on developer console link, go to the developer console editor, click on debug menu, click on open execute anonymous window, open execute anonymous window option, or else use control E from developer console. If you're feeling difficulty to use this mouse pointer, we can use the shortcut from developer console. As soon as whenever we are reaching to the developer console, use that shortcut, that is control E. By using this control E also, we can open that execute anonymous window here. Write the code inside the execute anonymous window. Select the checkbox, open log, click on execute or execute highlighted button. Execute or execute highlighted button. Then view the result inside the debug log file. To go to the debug log file, we have to go to the developer console, go back to developer console, expand the tab bar and click on logs tab. Double click on the recently generated log file. Select the checkbox debug only and view the result inside the browser. This is the navigation we used to follow to execute, to write, to see the results. Done with this? Done with the navigation? Now, let's see. How to go to this editor? Let me show you. So now we are using the help of execute anonymous window in order to write the piece of code in order to execute it. Now, so let's go to this editor now. So let's go to your Salesforce account. I'm logging to my Salesforce org now. This is my Salesforce org. I'm going to my Salesforce org now. Let's go to that setup menu on the top right corner. You know these options over here. Whatever the options are available, all the options you know. Initially, we have discussed. Like this is the favorites icon, global actions, guidance center, help menu, setup menu, notifications, profile, all these things. Now, go to this setup menu, the gear icon, click on the option developer console. Select the option developer console. So now this is the developer console editor will be getting open for you. Okay. Now observe this one. We are having our Salesforce account and we have developer console. So now let me close this. Let me open one more time. Go to the setup menu. Click on developer console. It is not opening the developer console in the same tab. It will open a separate browser window. Let's see. It is opening a separate browser window. In this browser window, it will open that developer console option over here. This is the developer console editor. Okay. Now, in this developer console editor, at the top of this editor, we are having a menu bar like file menu, edit menu, debug menu, test menu, help, workspace. Like that, we are having the various menus. Go to the debug menu and expand it. You will have the first option open execute anonymous window. The first option is open execute anonymous window. Click on this open execute anonymous window. Now it is providing a third editor over here, that is execute anonymous window editor. Now it is showing like as very small. We can make it maximize. Here we are having this maximize option here. Maximize this editor. Clear? This is the editor in which we are going to write your Apex programming code. We can compile, we can execute, and we can see the results. Clear up to this one? Now, let me close these editors. Let me show you one more time. Now tell me how to do this one. Go to the setup
Go to
menu.
setup menu, developer
Now you
console.
have to select developer console. Now developer console
select
editor
debug.
has been opened over here.
You have to select
Debug
debug.
menu,
Debug,
Open
open
con-
execute anonymous window.
anonymous
Right.
window.
Now here I don't want to use this menu bar here. I would like to go with that shortcut.
control
Control
plus.
E. Just you can use Control E. You will be getting this execute anonymous window. Now maximize this editor here. Now we can able to write that. Okay. This is the editor. See, 3 windows. Initially, we are into our Salesforce account. Then we went to the developer console. From here, execute anonymous window. Okay. 3 editors are available separately. In this editor, we can able to write your piece of code. Whatever the code you want to write, we can able to write this piece of code in this particular editor over here. Okay. Once the code has been written in this editor, in order to execute this code, we are having at the bottom right corner, we are having 2 buttons, execute button, execute highlighted button. 2 buttons are available. We can click on either execute button or execute highlighted button over here. Now tell me in this case here, what is this execute button? What is this execute highlighted button? For example, here I have written some piece of code. I have written some 100 lines of code. Now tell me. So now we are having these two buttons, execute button, execute highlighted button. What is the difference between these two now? Okay, right. Now, so now when I click on this execute button, now this particular button will execute the whole lines of code, whatever the 100 lines of code we have prepared, the complete code which is available in the editor will be getting executed with the help of Apex Runtime Engine. Okay, now, so that if we want to execute the whole code which we have written in this editor, use the help of the button execute button. But in some cases, I don't want to execute the whole code. I want to execute only the first 15 lines of code. Whatever the first 15 lines of code that you have prepared, I would like to execute it. So just we can able to select this 15 lines of code by using mouse pointer. You know how to select the content by using this mouse pointer. You know already here. Okay, just you can able to use the mouse pointer, drag the content, select the content whatever you want. If you want to execute only the selected lines of content, select this required content which you want to execute, then click on execute highlighted button. So that instead of executing the whole 100 lines of code, we can execute only the highlighted code, only selected lines of code we can execute by using execute highlighted button. Clear? Understood the concept now? Next. So now here in this case here, in order to execute this piece of code, we are having this option execute button, execute highlighted button. Okay, clear? Now, let's see. Now, for example, I want to write some piece of code here. In this editor, I'm writing the piece of code system.debug. Now, I'm printing some message. Welcome to Apex Programming. I'm writing some piece of code. Welcome to Apex Programming. I want to execute this piece of code over here. In this case, what we can do, just we can click on execute button, the whole lines of code will be getting executed. Okay, now, once the code is executed, then it will be generating a debug log file, right? Which includes your program results also. Then where we can see that debug log file? Where is the debug log file here? Okay. Now, look into the
Sir,
navigation.
open log. Open log.
How to see the result?
Logs
Go
tab.
to the developer console back. Now, in order to see the results, okay, in order to see the results, we have to go back to that developer console here. Now click on execute button here. I'm not selecting open log checkbox. What is the purpose of this open log checkbox? I will explain. Just wait for one more minute here. Now, in this case here, I'm writing some piece of code over here. I would like to execute it. Click on execute button. A small pop-up window has been visible. It has been disappeared. That means what it is indicating, your request has been sent to the server to execute over here. Once the code has been sent to the force.com platform as a request, then the code will be sending to the the application server. Application server will send the code to your Apex compiler. Apex compiler will compile this line of code. It will send the code to the execute anonymous window. It will execute the code. It will send the result back to you in the form of debug log file. Okay, now, so now in this case, where is the debug log file? How can we see the debug log file now here? In order to see the debug log file here, already I have given the navigation to you. View the result inside the debug log file. How to go to that? Go back to developer console. Now this is the editor right now we are in. Now go back to developer console. In this developer console, so now you will be having a tab bar in the middle. By default, in some cases, the tab bar will be in collapsible state over here, like as expanded collapsible option. Now you will be having a tab bar. The tab bar will be having so many options will be available to you. Like we are having logs tab, test tab, checkpoints, query editor, view state, progress, problems, the various tabs will be available inside this particular editor. Now just we can expand this here. Now you will be able to see that tab bar. This is the tab bar here. In some cases in your organization, if the tab bar is in collapsible state, then don't get worry about that. Just we can able to expand this one. Click on this button, it will be getting expanded. We can able to drag till whatever the level that you want. Okay. Now, so now here in this case, go to this particular tab bar. In this tab bar, we have a tab called as logs tab. Because here I want to see the debug log files. All the log files information will be visible inside the logs tab. So click on logs tab now. In this one, the recently generated log file. That means just now I have clicked on execute button. Upon executing the code, my application runtime engine will be generating a debug log file. This is the debug log file over here. Now the debug log file is not yet opened as of now. Then how to open this debug log file? Go to the debug log file, double click on this. Place the mouse pointer at any place, double click on this. Now the debug log file will be getting opened. Then we can see the result also here. This is the result of your program. Now, feeling difficulty? No, right? No.
No. No.
So now once you do that practice, it will be very easy to understand. Okay, now. So now here you can raise a question. Sir, I have written only one line of code, but it is showing this much of lengthy file to me as a result over here. Okay, now. So now here in this case here, let me explain this debug log file, what it contains. So now here it is indicating this. First of all, it will be tracking the user information. Whenever we are executing your Apex programming code, first of all, it will check whether this user is having the permission to create the Apex classes or not. Whether this user is having the rights to execute Apex classes or not, it will check the permission. Where it will check the permission? Inside the user's profile. That means the currently logged in user. That already we know that. Each user is associated with a profile. Profile is associated with the licenses over here. You know that complete hierarchy we have discussed during our security concept. So now each user should be associated with the profile. So it will collect the user account details over here. This is the user name. It will go to the user's profile. It will check in that user profile whether this particular user is having the rights to create Apex class or not. Whether this user is having the right to execute some Apex code or not, it will check the permission inside that user's profile. Now, in this case, if the user is having the permission inside the profile, then it will collect that code to execute it here. Now, where the user has written that code here. Because in Salesforce, we have multiple ways are available to write the Apex programming code. Then, which way you have used to write the code, it will collect that. Now the execution has been started here. Then it will be collecting that code unit started. In which unit you have written this piece of code. Now this is from execute anonymous window. Once the code has been getting collected, then in order to execute the code, so whatever the supporting components are required, for all the supporting components, it will be allocating the required amount of memory here. It will allocate the memory for each and every supporting components over here. And then it will start executing the code from the line 1. But in the line 1, we haven't written any code over here, that is empty. Line 2 also empty, but in the line 5, also line 3, we have written that piece of code. It is executing this piece of code over here. Once the code has been executed, in order to represent the result, whatever the memory is required, it will be allocating that memory location. And then it will be printing the result, whatever we have printed here. At the line number 3, we have written some statement which is used to print that message. That means debug statement here, which will be printing the message, welcome to Apex programming. Next, when you come down, here in this case, it is indicating here. As part of this program execution, in this program execution, what kind of features we have used? How many SOQL queries we have used? How many SOSL queries we have used? How many DML statements we have used? and how much CPU cycle time we have used, how much heap memory we have used, how many callouts we have invoked, that means third party integration services, and then how many email notifications we have sent. The whole information will be tracking by the debug log file inside this. Okay, that's what I told you. Debug log file contains the complete program execution history. Now, here I don't want this history. Here I want just my result. That's it. In this case, here just you can come to this particular editor. Here we have a small checkbox called as debug only checkbox. That means I don't want to see the program history. What is happening behind the screen? I don't want all these things. Just I want to check whether my result is printed or not. That's it. I want to see the result. Select the checkbox debug only here. Once you select this debug only checkbox, we can see only your result. Instead of displaying the complete program history, we can see only your result here. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now, this is the procedure in order to see the results. Now, in this case, you can raise a question, sir, do we have any chance to optimize this lengthy mechanism? A little bit, we have some options are available. As of now, what we did, we went to the execute anonymous window. We have prepared some code, click on execute button. Then to see the result, come back to the developer console, go to the tab bar, click on this logs tab, recently generated log file is available, double click on the log file will be getting opened here, select the debug only checkbox, then we can see the result here. Now, instead of going to the logs tab, instead of double click on the log file to open, I want to inform to Salesforce, boss, please open the log file for me automatically by default. When I click on execute button, then Apex runtime engine will be generating that log file. Log file will be coming to my organization. Please open the log file automatically for me here. Okay, please open the log file automatically for me here. So for that reason, in order to open the log file automatically, upon going to that execute anonymous window, here we can select the checkbox, open log. This is the purpose. Okay. Now, let's see. So now before executing that piece of code, select this open log checkbox, click on execute. Then automatically when you go back to developer console, log file is automatically opening for you. Just we can select the checkbox or debug only, we can see the result. You no need to open the log file, no need to go to this tab bar, go to the logs tab, double click on the log file, nothing to do. That will be opening by Salesforce automatically for you if you are selecting open log checkbox. Okay, now for example, I'm writing one more line of code over here. System.debug. This is my first Apex program. This is my first Apex program. These are the 2 lines of code I have prepared over here. Once the code has been getting prepared, now here select the open log checkbox over here, click on execute button. The code will be getting executed. Go back to developer console. Log file is already open. Just you can select the checkbox, open log. Now, what are the 2 lines of code that you have written? Both the lines of code results, we can able to see it over here. Clear? Now here, sometimes you can raise a question. Sir, I don't want to execute both the lines. I want to execute only the last line here. What we can do? Select this line of code over here. Click on execute highlighted button. Then request will be sending to the server. Now the debug log file is automatically opening for you. Select the debug only checkbox. We can see only that particular statement result on your debug log file. The remaining lines of code will not be executed here. Only selected lines of code will be executed by the server. Clear? Understood the concept now? How to write, how to execute, how to see the results? Feeling comfortable now? Now. So because this is the procedure we used to follow in the entire development over here, in this meantime, we'll see some more other mechanisms also over here. How to use a standard navigation, how to use the developer console, how to use that feature to write the code by using URL format, Visual Studio Code Editor, everything we'll see one by one here. Okay? Now, make a note of this small program here. Write an Apex program to print the welcome message onto the debug log file.
Sir, actually one doubt. Suppose if I type smallest debug, right, instead of
No, you
capital
can
S.
write because that already told you in Apex programming language, Apex is not case sensitive. Okay, here upon writing this system, I have written some yes, yes is capital. Okay, no need to write in S is capital here. You can write capital, small, combination, everything you can mix together. Not only the Apex programming, entire Salesforce development is not at all case sensitive. We can write the code by using any character case. It may be Apex also, Visual Force also, both are not case sensitive. But when you go to the Lightning framework, there we are using JavaScript. JavaScript is purely case sensitive over there. Okay, till then, we don't have any case sensitive problem here.
And one more question: is there any intelligence it will identify here in the
No, no,
Salesforce?
no, 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 no. For your
Okay.
standard methods, we don't have any intelligence feature. Salesforce is not providing any intelligence feature. Previously, we have intelligence feature is available for our upon writing the code. When we specify system dot, it will provide the intelligence methods also previously. But from winter 24 release onwards, that means from previous release onwards, Salesforce people has disabled that here. Okay, now winter 24 was the previous release here. That already we know. Now, so what is the current release of Salesforce? Spring
That's
24.
right.
Okay, Spring 24.
Spring
Okay,
24.
now. So now here on Saturday, that means last Saturday night at 10:30 p.m., Salesforce has given new release. Okay, Spring 24. Okay, that means the current release is Spring 24 release. Okay, now. So now let's see how can we check that server. How can we check that information?
Company profile.
How to check that? Hmm. People are not referring the notes. Hmm. Now.
Is it Salesforce Classic?
We have to use that website status.salesforce.com website. Now go to your server number. How to check our server number now? Company information. Company information link. What is the server number? AP24. Let's go to that status.salesforce.com. Search for the server AP24. Now the AP24 server is up and fine right now. It is available right now. The overall server status is available. What is the current release now? Spring 24. So when Salesforce has given this Spring 24 release on Saturday, that means February 10th night at 10:30 p.m. IST. How to check the date here? Go to the maintenance tab. Here we can see that. On February 10th night at 10:30 p.m. IST, Salesforce has given a new release, that is Spring 24 major release. Because previously we have used Winter 24, now we are using Spring 24 release. Night at 10:30 p.m. IST, Salesforce has given that. Just you can able to open the ticket number, we can see. Now this is the actual planned start time, planned end time. Now when they have completed over here? 10:31. That means how much time they have taken to upgrade your account with new release features? 1 minute. Okay. So now this whole information already we have discussed in our starting classes. In our starting classes during the server instances, I showed you everything practically here. Okay. Now on Saturday we got a new release, that is Spring 24. So now here to upgrade that new release features into your Salesforce account, Salesforce has taken 1 minute of time over here. Okay. What is the next release then? Next release? Summer, right? Summer what? 24. Okay. Winter 24 is already over. Now we are using Spring 24.
Spring 20.
Next release will be Summer
Summer.
24. After Summer 24, Winter what?
Winter
Winter
25.
25. Winter 25. Like that. So when Salesforce is going to provide okay Summer 24, here we can check
May.
June 15th.
June.
June 15th, Salesforce is going to providing summer 24 major release. After this one here, the next release will be winter 25. That will be on October 12th. Okay. This year, October 12th, Salesforce will be providing winter 24 major release. Okay. We can check the release dates and the maintenance calendar of next 1 year by using this status.salesforce.com website that already we have discussed in our starting classes of configurations. Okay, these are very, very important informations. Okay, now so clear up to this one. Previously, whenever we are able to write the code, if I'm writing system dot, it is able to provide all the methods available in the class in the form of IntelliSense. That is also called as autocomplete option. But Salesforce people made the autocomplete option has been retired from Salesforce from winter 24 release onwards. That means from last release onwards only this autocomplete option has been retired from Salesforce so that upon writing the code we need to remember everything. Okay, previously if I'm writing system dot, I'm able to see all the methods in the form of list box. But now we don't have that option here. But this option is available only for your object fields. Whenever we are writing the code for the object fields, then we can see the fields information over there. But normal Apex classes, it won't provide any IntelliSense over here. Okay. Clear after this one, how to write the piece of code now. So do the practice on these features over here today. Just to go through the navigation once, try to execute the piece of code. Tomorrow we'll see the practical concepts. Okay. So as of now, we are done with the theoreticals over here. Now from tomorrow, we are going to purely concentrating on practical concepts, how to write the code and how can we define the variables, how to assign the value, how to do the calculations, everything here. But before coming to the tomorrow session, please refer to the complete notes of development which we have discussed till now. Okay, data types, variable names, and the variable definitions, assigning the values also, operators, output statements, everything. What are the things we have discussed till now? Just to refer the notes once. Okay, so that we can feel comfortable tomorrow upon writing the code. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.